In October 2024, I finally planned my trip to Morocco. It's been on my bucket list for many years. And luckily enough, Bella was in Barcelona. And from there, we made our way to Morocco. This is the gear we took with us on the Spain-Morocco trip. Kept it quite compact. I did take a backup body with me, just the old 5D Mark II. My main camera was the 5D Mark IV, all full sensor cameras, and the trusty old 7200mm L series lens was our main camera. Our main lens. We used only the f4 because it's very light, easy to carry. The 2.8 is about double the weight, and we had 24-70, my main lens. Now I shot mainly with the 24-70, and Bella was shooting mainly with the 70-200mm lens. So this was my main lens, and very versatile. And keep your sensor clean with a blower, and a couple of chargers with you, and at least 4 batteries if possible. Had a backup hard drives to make sure we backed up every day. And if we could, we'd leave one with the car or the hotel just for safety. And every night or every afternoon, we would process and get ourselves inspired for the next day of our photography journey. And a lightweight tripod, carbon fiber, just for those, maybe get some night shots in of stars when we were in the desert, but anyway, that didn't work out. When I'm doing street photography, I always have my camera ready. I choose speed for hand holding, which is between 125th of a second to 500th of a second. Around f-stop around f8, f11, a high ISO, so I can hand hold the camera, of course, because most of the alleyways and streets are usually a bit dark. Expose for the highlights, and you get rich shadows and saturation in the color. The other thing I do is my favorite lens I usually use is a 24-70 Canon lens L series. And this gives me a lot of variety on the focal length, so I can zoom in and out quickly and get a variety of shots. So I can shoot vertical and horizontal. And don't forget to use your video on your phone to capture some BTS, some behind the scenes of the area. And that will give you some video for your social media and also GPS of where the location is. My first stop was Barcelona, where I met Bella, got our cameras ready, all our gear, and wandered through the streets of Barcelona, capturing all the street life and people, buildings, light and shade, and just warmed up for our main trip, which was Morocco. So here are some of the images which we captured in our first day in Barcelona. We were lucky enough to see an exhibition by Henri Cartier-Bresson, and that gave us a lot of inspiration to just to see things differently from a different point of view. The weather wasn't great, but we managed to get under an umbrella near a restaurant, and from there, using a 70-200mm lens, we managed to capture some interesting shots of people going by. And then switching from this 70-200 to the 24 to 70 mil lens. Just quickly capture some shots of people standing around with very colorful umbrellas and raincoats.
After that, we headed to a beautiful coastal town called Sitges, which is 30 minutes southwest of Barcelona. There we stayed in a lovely hotel overlooking the beach and wandered the streets, doing a bit more street photography and just taking in the sights. Unfortunately, due to the floods in Valencia, we had to cut our trip short here and head straight to Morocco. Fortunately, a very good friend of mine offered us some accommodation to stay at his home in Fez, so we were very lucky that we had that place to go to. So we started off Morocco 4 days early in the beautiful town of Fez. On our first day walking through the streets, we quickly realised that you have to be careful of when people offer you help. A lot of the people are genuine and do want to help you find where you're going, but it does come at a price. So have money ready to tip if this is something you want to do, and make sure you're firm in saying no with anything you don't feel comfortable with. We had an interaction with one guy who didn't take us to where we wanted to go, but eventually, in asking a few more people for help, we ended up at our destination, the tannery.
I found that the tannery, the 70 to 200 mil lens was the best lens for me to capture all the action and getting as close as possible to people working in the conditions that we're under. And then switched over to the 24 to 70 mil lens. I found it more versatile and quick to zoom in and out to capture different views of the streets. I always expose for the highlights to get the rich shadows and the contrast in the color and saturation. The people of Morocco are not super comfortable getting their photo taken, so having a guide in Morocco was a real plus, especially for fixing and communicating with the locals when you're getting close to them and doing their portrait. And here you can see getting into these coffee shops and tea houses, I was able to capture a couple of portraits of the locals that were all mainly shot with a 24 to 70 mil lens.
An interesting observation we kept coming back to throughout the trip is how fascinating it is. You can have two people walking the same streets, seeing the same things, using the same equipment or cameras, and creating completely different images. Those unique viewpoints that we have are so different, and showing our perspective through our work is amazing. 4 days in Fez, with 1 day going to Chefchaouen, the blue city in between. Did a lot of street photography. It was challenging at times because it's super busy and you're in really crowded alleyways, so I definitely preferred when we broke out of that and had a bit more space to walk around and shoot. But both really beautiful cities, completely different in their own ways. The blue city was obviously very blue, a lot of cats. They call Fez the city of cats apparently because there's literally just cats everywhere in Morocco. How you feel about being in the blue city?
Very picturesque. Sure, we're going to get a lot of shots today.
When you're in a city like Chefchaouen that is so well documented, we wanted to be really careful not to just take the same photos that have been taken before. Every corner is so beautiful and picturesque, but we tried to look beyond the beauty and find new perspectives and new ways to see. And yeah, we're on our way to the desert now. We're going to spend 2 nights there and we're very excited. Just watched the sunrise in the Sahara Desert, which is pretty crazy. Take a look. And yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. There's something so freeing about having no clear subject in mind, no expectations. Just letting your surroundings dictate the story your images will later create. Because of the unpredictable nature of this, I couldn't block creativity with judgment. You have to be so present and aware of the ever-changing shapes, ready to act without thinking when something catches your eye. Reminding me, there's so many ways to look, but not all of them involve truly seeing. Discovering new parts of yourself through the things you are drawn to is such a strange thing to experience. Learning that so much of art and life is that unexplainable mix of right place, right time, right headspace. I am by no means suggesting anything about the quality of images produced. Only that I am forever changed by the lessons learnt in their pursuit. Exploring without limits is such a joyous thing. I must vow to do it far more often.